All right, what's going on there, everybody in Free Game Nation? So, we back at it for another classroom session. Now, today, I got a follower, all right? All right, this guy, he specializes in what they call, what a lot of YouTubers do called semen retention. You figure that out? Now, I don't talk on that shit. I don't talk on that shit. I don't like talking on it because, first off, I don't care what other dudes are doing with their semen. I don't, you know what I mean. So that's not something I don't care to talk about. I don't want nobody. I don't think nobody care what I do with mine. But for the purposes of putting the program show out like that, because a lot of dudes is asking me, what's the benefits of it? Should they do it? Should they practice it? Blase, all this good shit here. So I said, okay, I'm gonna just do one show on this shit and I'm gonna let it go. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one show on that shit, and I'm gonna put that shit to rest because that's not something I talk about. That's not something I specialize. I got a follower called Best Male Virgin. He do that shit. If you're interested in that shit, go on his channel, check him out. And I guess he'll tell you what you need to know about that shit. But over here, I don't really talk about that shit. I don't really talk about that shit, and I'm not gonna start talking about that shit. But for today's show, I give y'all a little bit of education. I give y'all a little bit of game on it. Now, this thing we gotta understand. I went over this in a recent Patreon when I explained what the opposite of death is. What's the opposite of death? An ignorant person would say the opposite of death is life. That's what an ignorant person would say. But a person who's in the knowledge, a person who understands the game, they understand that the opposite of death is sex. The opposite of death is sex. Life is what happens in between sex and death. Once a man gets to the age where he's no longer interested in sex, he starts to focus on dying. Once you're no longer interested in creating life, now it's time to focus on leaving life. You feel me? Sex creates life. Death ends life. So the opposite of death is sex. Sex creates it. Death ends it. Life is what happens in between sex and death. A lot of people never get a chance to live life because they spend their whole so-called existence. I'm not gonna say life because a lot of people don't never, like Drake said in the song, everybody dies, but everybody doesn't get to live. So a lot of people spend their existence in the pursuit of sex and the avoidance of death. So they never had time to stop and smell the roses. And this is what a lot of these dating coaches do. They spend their whole program, their whole channel is focused on convincing guys that they need to have sex with as many chicks as possible. How to get sex. See, this is the reason why sex feels so good when you bust that nut. When you bust that nut, it feels so good because now your spirit man has a moment of freedom to where he can simultaneously be free alongside of the body without the body going to sleep. That's why it feels so good. So every time you bust a nut, whether you're a man or a woman, you lose a little bit of life force. You lose a little bit of life force. That's been scientifically proven. You lose a little bit of life force. When you die, you lose your entire life force. So if busting a nut feels that good, you can only imagine how good it's gonna feel for your soul when you finally just leave this shit all together. You feel me? So, but what you gotta understand is every time you bust a nut, you gotta pay attention to that recovery. You got to pay attention to the damage that has been done through the sexual act. You got to pay attention to that. So, like I was saying when I was going through my ailment, having sex would always make me feel weaker. Like I'll be feeling good, you know what I'm saying? I take a day off not having sex, then me and my little chick, man, we'll do a thing, and then bam, the next day, like I feel like I done got sick all over again. You know what I mean? My chest was hurting, my head was hurting, all that shit there, cause the nut took so much out of my body. It drained so much. So when you do practice that semen retention, it will make you healthy. It will give you more energy. It will give you more vitalization. I was in a polygamy situation one time. I was in a polygamy relationship one time for like 4 months. And I wanted to get into it for the money. I wasn't trying to get into it for the sex. That was all about the money. But the females who I was in a situation with, they thought I wanted it for the sex. So and this when my game wasn't as sharp as my mind yet. This when I was still stupid. So they were trying to keep me happy by giving me pussy around the clock. So I'm just not coming into my macking. I'm just not really getting my macking strong. So I'm in a situation, I'm living in a house where I ain't gotta work, I ain't gotta hustle no more, I ain't gotta do nothing. All I gotta do is please these two chicks. They paying the bills, they paying the cable, I'm getting money from them, you know what I'm saying? They fucking each other, I'm watching them fuck each other. It's like, it seems like it's heaven on earth, right? I'm talking about two fine ass females, gorgeous. So, but after about 2-3 months, like I'm literally waking up dizzy every day. I'm literally like I don't even have energy to play the damn video game because it's just fucking around the clock. It's just nuts being busted around the clock. I don't have no ambition. Like I came into the relationship with the plan of stacking up some money, and that's when that's before I started my first business. I was gonna start my business with the money and the situation I had going on with these two chicks. But the sex was destroying everything, man. It got to the point where it wasn't even fun no more. It was work. This is when I started to realize that sex was all about the woman. I didn't want the sex, they wanted the sex. Too much of a good thing can always be bad. So, yeah, semen retention is a thing. Your body can't just keep doing this shit all the time, man. It's only a certain amount of time you can do this. Sex is the opposite of death, but if you have too much sex, you will push yourself to an early death because every time you ejaculate, you lose a little bit of life. You lose a little bit of life force. Sex is like getting your paycheck. When you get your paycheck, a lot of y'all don't get blank checks when you get paid. You have a certain amount of money on that check. You got to be real careful how you spend that money because once it's gone, it's gone. You know what I mean? You got a certain amount of time when you born. You got a certain amount of days you're gonna live. You got to, believe it or not, you got a certain amount of time that you're gonna be able to successfully ejaculate. So you want to spend them rising. You want to spend them wisely because there's gonna come a time. Everybody is natural where you're not gonna be interested in sex. And a foolish man will go and get Viagra pills. A foolish man will go and do all this shit because sex is all he knows. A wise man, once he reached that day and age that he's no longer interested in sex, then he's going to start focusing on meditation. He's going to start focusing on the transition because now he knows he's no longer, his soul doesn't evolve. So now he can focus on the next stage of his existence. You feel me? Now it's no longer about life no more for him. Once you start being interested in sexual activity, life stops. Now you go back to existence. But now you're conscious enough to appreciate your existence. So a lot of people exist without a state of consciousness, so they can't even appreciate it because they too busy running like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to get sex and avoid death. Once you reach the stage that you're no longer interested in sex, you could be conscious enough to enjoy life and begin to embrace the thing that happens after life that we call death. So when death comes, you won't be scared. You won't be hiding. Your heart won't be beating uncontrollably. You won't be losing your fucking mind. You'll understand what it is. And furthermore, you'll understand the beauty of it. But, now with that being said, I'm not finna tell people, don't have sex. I'm not finna tell people, don't ejaculate. That's the best feeling that you can have. That's the best physical feeling that you can have here. So you just want to take it into moderation. Especially, you can't be a Mac and practicing semen retention. You can't be a player because these females, they're gonna need sex. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need it quite often too, man. They're gonna need it quite often too. So you just got to find a healthy balance. You got to find a chick that's worth you going that route with. You got to find a female that's worth your nuts. You know what I mean? Because your nuts is more important than just you making kids. Your nuts is your actual life force. So you got to find a female that's worth you giving those, giving giving those commodities, those assets. Your nut is your asset. You got to find a female worth giving that to on a consistent basis. You know, it's a waste of damn time just finding this one bitch, fucking her, then find this one bitch, fucking her, find this one bitch, fucking her. You giving your life force to all these different females, man. This is one of the main reasons why females don't like condoms. They like to feel that sperm in them. Because they understand what it does to them. You figure it out? So you find you a bitch that you cool, that's cool to fuck, that's cool to be down with on your team, and you know, you can have those, I'm talking about real sex. You know what I mean? I'm talking about raw sex. I'm talking about dick and pussy going in. You feel me? Without having to worry about putting no fucking raincoat on your shit. You find a bitch that you can trust, that you can go get tested with. You find a bitch that y'all could be on that, y'all could really make that connection. And you live your life how you supposed to live your life. But you listen to these motherfuckers on YouTube, they'll tell you this, you know, you got to holler at 100 bitches a month, and you got to, you know what I mean, how many bitches you fucking, how many bitches you got in your rotation. Now, your rotation is the point. Now, I give them that. Your rotation, you want to keep your rotation. But you don't want to keep switching out the fucking rotation. You should have everybody in your rotation should be tested, you should be trusted, and you should have a personal relationship with everybody in your fucking rotation. So you ain't got to strap up when you fuck now one of them. Everybody in your fucking rotation. You can't be fucking with this bitch for a week and then, you know, she get back with her boyfriend and you start fucking with her and you start fucking with this bitch over here and then you and this bitch fall off, or you fuck this bitch one time and she ain't like how you fuck her, so she ghosts you, and then you fuck with this bitch here and you fuck this bitch. Sooner or later you gonna catch something. Sooner or later you're gonna catch something, and it's gonna be easier for you to catch it because you're constantly shooting out your life force to all these different people. See, the good thing about sex, when you're not using condoms, even though you're losing your life force, you're giving her your life force, and she's giving you her life force. So it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier on the body. You're taking in her essence, she's taking in your essence. When you fucking all these different chicks and you got all these condoms, the condom is taking in everything. So you flush your essence down the fucking toilet with that condom. So she don't get the benefit of you giving it to her, and you don't get the benefit of receiving what she was gonna give to you. So, you know, that's why I say you want to be real careful with how you get down in the fuck game. But that's all I want to say, man. I'm gonna go real deep on this shit on Patreon, man. Like y'all got to get on the Patreon, man. Like I drop some game on YouTube, but I'm real cautious with how I drop it because, you know, when you want something in life, when you really want enlightenment, when you really want treasure, you'll go and find it. You'll seek it. It's not gonna always just come to you. So sometimes you gotta do a little bit, extra to get a little bit extra. Sometimes you're gonna have to hop on a motherfucking Patreon if you wanna get the deeper shit. Sometimes you're gonna have to come out the pockets a little bit cause you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. You know what I mean? And if you enjoy this program, hit the like button, man. Hit the sub button, man. That's the least you could do. Least you could do. You figure it out. And I'm gonna holler at y'all later on the next one, man. Y'all be cool on your stool, man. Cause you know, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, the less likes, the more bland the game gonna get on YouTube. And to the point where it ain't gonna be no game on YouTube. So hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. That let me know to keep coming on here and dropping shit. I'll fuck with y'all later.